Sif's blood. Barely survived that encounter. I'll bring you a new transmission. Vode An.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Vode An, episode 6. Now, if you watched the update video that we put out about a week ago now, at least time I'm recording this video, we're not doing the Clone Wars Republic stuff just yet. We're going to be focusing on the early 1998 Star Wars stuff because if we, me and Ken have not read that stuff, so we would have been our opinions on the comics, Clone Wars era Republic stuff would have been really skewed, so it would not have been fair. So here we go. So the first two stories that we're going to review is a short comic. I forget where it's from. Star Wars Insider, right? I don't remember.
No, it's from a really obscure Dark Horse annual called Girls Rule.
There you go. It's called Aurra's Song. So it's a short comic that we're going to read. It's about, of course, Aurra Sing. And then the second story we're going to read, which is a mini-series, is Jedi Council Acts of War. So we're going to start with Aurra Song first. Tidus, being kind of the brain to the series, what's your rundown for these comics?
I mean, I mostly wanted to give a rundown for like the Clone Wars stuff. I mean, for these, I can't say too much without literally just like explaining the plot of it or like just spoiling it. I don't know.
Oh, well, fair enough. I forget who wrote this one. Who wrote this story?
I don't remember myself. Let me check.
I'm bringing up the timeline right now. Let's see here. It is written by it is written by Dean Motter.
There you go.
So the story is basically Aurra Sing runs into an old acquaintance of hers. You see a little bit of her backstory when she was like a slave. And then I don't exactly remember the entire details, but it's eventually revealed that, when she was captured by this old, acquaintance of hers, she was actually just setting it up. So it was fine for in my opinion, it was fine for what it was, but I don't really remember anything from it. It had cool artwork. Well, kind of cool. Some of the art's actually kind of funny at times.
They do look fiendish. They look fiendish.
Making Aurra Sing look fiendish.
But it's very cartoonish artwork. But yeah, I mean, it was okay for what it was. I mean, what do you guys think?
I don't honestly have much to say. I thought it was an interesting comic, but then again, me and short stories are either hit or miss, and this one I guess was on the fence. Like, it adds to her character, but at the same time, like, it's just a short story. It's like I got nothing. But the whole like her being a slave or whatnot just adds to her character, my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's a piece of artwork in here. Well, actually, when she's a slave, I think she was enslaved to the Hutts, was it?
Yes, she was sold by an Anzadi to a Hutt. Well, a Hutt crime lord. She was enslaved to that one.
Yeah.
Nice to see the Anzadi, though. I will say it's always nice to see the Anzadi in a comic.
Yeah, the Anzadi played a role in this story. So if you like the Anzadi, you'll find this story interesting.
If you like your vampire brain sucking aliens, read this.
Yeah, then when she was a slave, she was wearing a very similar outfit to what Leia was wearing in Return of the Jedi, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yep.
Tidus, what do you got to say, brother?
I used to really like this comic like years ago. As I don't know, I think I had read this. I think I read it by the omnibus. So how it's structured there is that they put this after all the Aurra Sing arcs. So you kind of like already know her backdrop, and then you go into this, and this kind of fills out the blanks. looking back on this though, I didn't really like it as much. It's kind of just like a nothing burger story almost. I mean, you get, of course, she was sold off to the Inzadi. She was trained by them. Um, they didn't respect her, or they were at least unnerved by her because everyone that's trained in Inzadi assassination school presumably is an Inzadi. They're not really off-worlders or the such. But I found the undertone of the story very fucking weird. I'm not gonna lie to you, because the guy that was the bait, or however the fuck the trap set up at the end, is very predatory, because Aurra Singh was a slave at maybe 14, 16. She was captured very young, and this guy is constantly saying, "Well, I like my prey young. I like them very, very young." It's like it's a constant emphasis on her skin and how old she is. So the whole thing is like he has like a predatory fascination with her.
Yeah, that
And I
was
never. You said what?
I thought that was really fucked up, and like I was like a little unnerved by that part of the comic.
I mean, I never caught it before. It's like I was reading the dialogue and I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's weird as hell." It's like
The dude gave me Griffith vibes. I was like, this dude's gonna like do something to her. I'm like, I don't like it.
Well, I don't know about Griffith because he's not like a real smart manipulator.
No, he's
just
not. But it's the
just like a
whole
pervert.
vibes of him just
Right.
being like weird. Give me Griffith vibes.
Right.
But
It's
he's
just like-
nowhere near as charismatic as Griffith is. So
Right. It's just like he's just like a pervert. It's like he fetishizes her young age, and he fetishizes her race for not being an Inzadi. He's like, "Oh, like, well, I like those that stand out from the crowd." It's like, bro, what?
bro, what are you on? Like, oh my god.
But
Yeah,
I just
it was.
What's up?
There was a lot of weird Troy. It was like a lot of Troy Denning esque kind of dialogue in the story.
man, I would hope Denning wouldn't do shit like this.
This honestly
I mean,
sounds like
he
something
had,
Steve Perry would write.
Jaina
I'm not
and
gonna
Zach.
lie.
He had
Steve
Jaina
Perry's
and
written
Zach
some
have
weird shit.
a sex orgy with bugs. So I mean,
There's that. And then
Yeah.
there's Steve Perry too. The Steve Perry too. So both of them, two sex fiends in Star Wars.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
there are two sex fiends, But I
Yep.
think this is like Aurra Song's on the low tier of sex fiendry. I don't think it's as bad as Denon and Perry. But
it's not as bad now.
right, it's nowhere near as like that level of horny.
Nowhere near.
But antagonist aside, Aurra Sing herself in it, I kind of really didn't care for her portrayal in this, because it's like a step forward, but also a step back from like I think the first Boba Fett book we were talking about. Whereas like there, I felt she was too passive, and here it's kind of like she's too feminine. And what I mean by that is that Aurra Sing is kind of like a mean bitch. It's like she's not at like very womanly in later comics we'll be reading. So here she just kind of felt too, I don't know, girlish, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for lack of a better term, Aurra Singh's basically a girl boss, and she acts way too submissive and feminine in this comic.
Right. But at the same time, like out of universe, I kind of understand why she's written that way, because you got to remember this anthology was literally packaged in a Dark Horse annual focusing on like girl power type of stories.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why like I feel like she's at least written this way. But it is a little bit jarring when you consider like all of her other appearances. I did like that it shows how intelligent she is. I mean, that is a consistent theme of her. Like, she's very intelligent. She spun like this guy's trapped who thought he had her, but in reality, she had him. So that was neat. Also, they brought up the self-loathing aspect of her character, you're gonna see, where it's like her main drive is kind of like a bounty hunter. It's not really much to get credits. She just kind of like has this deep self-resentment. She wants to kill the Jedi. She wants to get revenge on a dark woman. And that's the whole thing. But we'll get into that. But for Aurra Song, that's all my thoughts.
Makes sense.
I think one thing I'm going to add is her being trained by Anzadi actually adds to why she's so deadly of a bounty hunter that she is. Even the stuff that I haven't read yet, I know that she's a very competent and deadly villain. So her being trained by the Anzadi of all people. The Anzadi are known for like their assassination arts. It's like the one thing in the galaxy that they're known for is they're really good at killing and hunting and tracking other races. So that, especially that makes Aurra Sing very deadly, especially when she's fighting Jedi. And given that she had that Jedi training when she was younger, comprised with her Anzadi assassination arts, that makes her one mean bitch, I will say.
Yeah, that coupled with like her intelligence, her Anzadi training, Jedi skills, it's a whole fucking full bundle.
Yep, she got the full goddamn like season pass package.
The fucking Fortnite season pass.
Got the Call of Duty fucking like
Yeah,
buy the
yeah.
fucking season pass. Get the gun
Yeah,
early.
yeah. Orson bought the battle pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a thing. Well, I mean, fucking, it's in the name. She's got Aurra, so
Yeah, she's got Aurra. She bought the fucking
head
COD,
ass.
the COD and Modern Warfare care package.
yeah, she bought the goddamn
head ass.
Stan Smith fucking bundle.
That is, yeah. She's a badass. She's paid to win.
Pay to win. Damn it.
Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and move on. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
Nada.
Nope.
I guess let me summarize my thoughts. I mean, I guess I sympathize with what you guys are saying. It was, it was decent, but there was some weird stuff in it. So, but overall, it's not terrible. So the next story that we have is Jedi Council Acts of War. Finally, some good freaking Star Wars stuff.
Some
Finally,
good fucking
some
food.
good prequel stuff. About time the prequels are good. They're so used to being bad and.
Hey, Titus, by debate.
Yeah,
we
come on.
had to, we had to go through the shit like creek, the paddle of shit creek to get to the gold mine.
So this is a 4-issue miniseries written by the legend himself, Randy Stradley.
Ah, yes.
The art was done by someone named Vode
Mm-hmm.
and Christian Dalla, or the inks is Christian Dalla Vecchia. But this is a story. It takes place, of course. This is right before the Phantom Menace. It's about the Yankori crisis, which if you've read Plagueis, you've heard of this before because it's mentioned in there. Well, because that story is connecting to this story. Basically, Yankori are like this. They're this invading species, and they're invading. They killed Jedi, right? What do they do?
Well, it's because Yankori had gotten a seat in the Senate, and because they've gotten a seat in the Senate, more technologies come their way. And as a race, they're like technophiles, so like they'll hold whatever technology they get. But because of that, they're trying to become expansionists, and that's why they fuck up the Jedi on orders of Villy's cousin.
That's right, and they attacked the planet. I guess what kind of started it was the planet's Mavich 7.
Yes.
So they attacked that planet. Of course, they call the Jedi Council, and Mace Windu is sort of the central character in this story. Kind of. There's a lot of central characters, but he's kind of focused. I think he's in the middle of the cover. So, but they set up these 3 Jedi groups to go to these 3 different Yankori worlds to take him out. So there's a team led by Mace Windu. There's a team led by Plo Koon, I believe, and then the other team was. What was the other team?
Led by Adi Gallia.
Adi Gallia. That's right. So 3, Jedi Council members. Other Jedi that are in this: Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan are in this. Yaddle's in this. Yoda, Stacey Tin, Evan Peele's in it. Of course, the Council from Phantom Menace is in it. Kukrook is in it. A Padawan Kukrook, which I've never seen that before, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, this is by the way, this is Kukrook's first appearance.
Well, there you go. It's his first appearance. I didn't know that either. But there was his master. I think it's his master. He had like 2 masters though, didn't he? In this,
He had one master, Lilith Tusis.
Who was the other guy? The guy that spoiler alert, sacrifices himself.
Micah Gia.
Micah Gia wasn't a master. He was just like as a Jedi Master, he passed on wisdom to like him and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he was just there as like the high, not highest ranking Jedi, but he was there as the more experienced Jedi Master.
For some reason, I was thinking he was Crook's master. I don't know why, but that was this his only appearance in this book?
This was Micah Giet's first appearance, but he does appear in this comic called Jedi: The Dark Side with Qui-Gon and Xanatos.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Well, he was a cool character. There was also like this Onks Jedi, which was pretty cool. There was one of the Zabrak Jedi. What's his name? It was Agent. No,
Koth.
is it Agent Kola?
Eve
Koth. Yeah, he was in this. There was also what was that little short
Young
blue
Obi-Wan.
alien?
Oh yeah,
The short alien is Su Choi.
Yeah.
Forgotten her name.
See, this was such a great story, but I forgot a lot of the characters in it or the names.
Yeah, I've forgotten a lot of the names. Billy, though, I think I remembered, and you mentioned it, it came back to me. But he's the Deveronian, like guy who's like he's communicating between the Yin Chori and Sidious.
Yep.
Yeah. The Yin Kori were basically sent by Sidious. I mean, it's all
Go fuck up the Jedi and kill them.
So basically cause chaos. But anyway, it was a fantastic story. It was a lot of fun, a lot of action in it. But I think what I love so much about the story is it felt almost like something that, like the dialogue. And I mentioned this to Tidus shortly after I read it. When Mace Windu talks, it feels like it's Mace Windu talking. When Qui-Gon talks, it actually feels like it feels like it's like Liam Neeson delivering the lines. I mean, it felt like a G canon story. It felt like it was something George Lucas wrote. I don't know. It just felt like Star Wars. It was, and a lot of the EU is like that, but when it's really like that, I mean, you can feel it. I mean,
yeah, you can imagine
the
characters talking as the actors that they're portraying them. Like I can hear the accent when I read the comic. I can hear you McGregor.
Right. That's how Lance described it. Lance had said that Stradley has a very strong diction with the characters.
Yeah. That's absolutely true across a lot of his work.
Yeah. So the dialogue was great. Like I said, it was almost like George Lucas. Well, that's almost like saying the dialogue is bad. But it feels like this is something that the characters, would say.
Yeah.
So, but the story was really good. Like I said, it's a lot of action. But it's still good. You can have a lot of action, so of course tell a good story. I don't know. It's just a really good pre-Phantom Menace story, and you get to. It's kind of a cool way to get to learn some of the Jedi who are on the Council and who they are. So, and like I said, Crook, this is his first appearance, which was awesome. Wait, I thought his first appearance was the micro series.
No, this predates the micro series by 3 years.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Oh, baby Crook, kicking ass.
Yeah, Deva Blaba was in this too. So if you like Deva, he's in there. Of course, Maul and Sidious are doing their part in here.
Yep. Yoda.
This is great.
The whole shebang.
Yeah, there's this badass panel. I posted on my Instagram. It's when the Corey try to invade the temple and they go into like this dark room, and then the Jedi turn their lightsabers on, and Yoda's basically like, he basically says you're not going to win against us. So I mean,
that's actually reminded me of a scene from not Fate of the Jedi. Fate of the Jedi. There's the scene, the assault on the. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything because Tidus, he hasn't read those books yet, but it did remind me of a scene from Fate of the Jedi.
I mean, yeah,
I haven't read them either, dude.
That is true. Yeah, consider
you gonna spoil me?
No, I'm not gonna spoil. Not gonna spoil Lance. No, I'm not gonna spoil you either.
Consider Lance too, but I mean, Yoda basically like, you picked the wrong house, fool.
Basically, picked the wrong house, fool.
It was so awesome, dude. It's such a good story. Um, it was awesome. I mean, what would you guys like to add to that?
There was one detail I noticed, and I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but there was a thing where like lightsabers cut through flesh, like the Inchori or characters would bleed. I don't know if that's a discrepancy or intentional. I feel like that's a discrepancy because every time we've seen lightsabers go through flesh, it cauterizes wounds, and
Not necessarily. You
I mean,
remember
yeah,
when
look,
Ponda
look
Baba
at
got his
Ponda
arm chopped
Baba.
off?
Yeah, Ponda
that's
Baba.
true.
Yeah, it was all bloody. That's just like that's kind of like that's just always been kind of a discrepancy
Yeah, it's just kind of a
ever
weird.
since the first film.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's an in-universe explanation for it though.
yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm just missing it, but it was just like kind of weird to see. I was like, oh, these people are like being like fucking bleeding from energy burns. I'm like, okay.
Maybe, but I
It's
didn't really
so
care that
minor.
much
It didn't
'cause-
really bother me. So
well, like I said, it was in A New Hope, so
yeah, I know. Pondo Bob getting his arm cut off.
Ponda Baba.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You got any more thoughts, Ken?
Um, I like the Inchori. I like how there are all these this really adds to like the fact that all these races the Republic has to deal with. And it really kind of shows like how if it weren't for Palpatine's like whole machinations, I think the Clone Army could have been a great boon to the Republic. And like they didn't have all the chips and shit. Like the Republic would have been able to deal with races like the Yinchori on like a better level, and they wouldn't have to send the Jedi up. Because we see in the beginning during the attack on the planet, they have defense forces and whatnot. By the way, those uniforms they're wearing are cool as fuck. I love my tactical stuff in Star Wars, but these guys are getting overwhelmed by these like bloodthirsty lizard people who are just like crazy violent. And to see like the clones fight the Inchori would be cool. And like I just want to see a clone and a Inchori like throw fucking hands, beat each other up. It'd be a cool sight.
I mean, that would be badass.
But I guess my whole point being is that if the Republic had a clone army free of like all the machinations of Palpatine, it could be like, and they had it before the events of the Clone Wars, this shit could have played out a lot differently.
Mm.
It was a thought I had while I was reading the comic.
Well, I agree, but there is like kind of a purpose with Palpatine in the Yinchori uprising
Mm-hmm.
because, and that's like the weird thing about it. It's something that Lance had said where it said he said that Palpatine had sent the Yinchori.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Palpatine didn't send the Yinchori necessarily to destroy the Jedi. He got Vili to kind of act for him. But what he wanted Vili to do was to send the Yinchori into battle. He didn't want them to win because Palpatine was telling them all, the Jedi did the work for us. We sent Jedi to war with this alien race to prevent a future where they could become a potential threat.
Mm-hmm.
Because imagine if the Yinchori amassed their technology. Imagine if they became an empire, their system expanded. They kind of became like Mandalorians in a sense.
Yeah.
That's like the future that Palpatine was trying to prevent.
And honestly, that's what I
right.
thought was so interesting is like
Right.
without Palpatine's machinations, the Inchori by their very nature are this expansionist and violent species, and they could end up like the Yavifa from like the
Right.
Black Fleet Crisis.
Right.
They're just this race of crazy lizard people who are ultra violent. They kill and they hoard and they expand. It's like they could become a big problem down the line, even without Palpatine. Palpatine kind of like nipped that in the bud real quick.
Right. That's why it's like 4D chess in a way. He had a proxy do all the work for him because the Jedi can't really get anything out of Vili. But even then, it's funny because Vili has a proxy of his own. Like Vili has his fucking cousin. His cousin is a nigh identical twin to him. So it's like, I think in the Deveronian version, they kind of go more into detail about the backgrounds of this story. And they basically say that he intentionally chose his cousin because if the Jedi interrogate him, they won't immediately draw the connections, which is not necessarily true because they did find out there was another guy, and that's how they pinpointed the real Yinchori command center.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have any more thoughts, Ken?
No, I said what I was going to say about the clone Ian Chori comparison and whatnot.
Fair enough.
But I thought it was just an interesting point to be made. That like on their own, without any manipulation, like the Ian Chori are still like a threat, or they could be a threat. Like
Right.
Palpatine just like will mix and match and pick and choose like all these different races, and he can make like different like people or races that by their nature are peaceful and turn them into like these violent pawns. Or like you can have races like the Inchori that are by their very nature violent, but Palpatine is like culling them because he can see they could be a potential threat in the future. And it's a badass play on Palpatine's part. It really adds to like Palpatine being this master manipulator to see behind the scenes. And I thought that was really cool.
Right, like he is the ultimate lord of cunning, and that's like the funniest thing with his interactions with Maul. After this, I'm going to go into my thoughts, but like his interactions with Maul are so funny because it kind of shows a contrast of what type of Sith they are. Palpatine, of course, is the king of manipulation and cunning. Maul, he constantly is like, Master, please send me to fight the Jedi. Please, I can kill them more than any Yinkori could. And he's like, my apprentice, don't you realize that we're playing the long game? The council has won for us. And
Master!
What I'm trying to say is that like Maul has the perspective of a warrior. Sidious has the perspective of a manipulator. It's like Maul constantly goes back and forth. Send me. I want to kill the Jedi. I can kill them much quicker than these damn lizards. But he doesn't get the full picture. It's like, you're not trying to kill the Jedi. You're trying to eliminate this other party so you don't interfere with our battle with the Jedi. Like that's the thing. Like Maul doesn't have a manipulator's brain. He is Sith, but he's not like the type of Sith Palpatine is.
Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of sounds fan fictiony, but like just imagine if like Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Maul are fighting on Naboo, and then the Yinkori show up and like they start fucking things up, like a third party come in. It's like Palpatine doesn't want that. He wants to have the chessboard and move all the pieces on his terms. He's not gonna sit there and have a fucking third party factor doing their shit and like run wild. He wants to control every single factor he can.
Well, even then, Palpatine wouldn't. He doesn't want to have like direct confrontation. It's like like he wants to remain anonymous as long as he can. But like Maul doesn't get that. Like he is aching to take it to the front lines to finally test his skills against the Jedi. Like this isn't the same story, of course, but in Maul Shadowhunter, if you've read that or listened to it, he constantly is musing about, I can't wait to test my mettle against the Council, Plo Koon, Adigalia. Like he's constantly regaling about like how he would fare against in his mind against different council masters. And it's funny, but it's interesting at the same time. He's just that obsessed with like combat.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get into my thoughts about it. So I think this is my second time rereading this. I don't know. I did not like it as much as I did the first time. And that's kind of how I feel about really all these comics that we're gonna be touching so far. It's like I don't know. And so far, I didn't feel the same kind of oomph. I thought the opening was really good, where it's like the world being attacked, and then they fucking send a transmission. Master Windu, please help us to Yinkori, and then like the fucking transmission cuts. Like that is cool. But everything else, I don't know. It's like I think what had got to me is that there's not really too much, just dialogue in it, right? But I didn't feel like that there was enough dialogue in this. I kind of wish there was a little bit backpedal on action, or it ran 6 issues instead of 4.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. This comic needed time to breathe, and I wouldn't say that like the whole phrase like not enough time in the oven. I wouldn't say that's entirely true for this story, but I will say this comic needed like an issue or two of just dialogue heavy stuff and just time to breathe.
Right, it definitely did. I don't know. I forgot what I was gonna say. Well, yeah. I mean, I agree. Like it needed more room to breathe. Like 6 issues probably would have done it more justice. But even then, it's like that's always kind of the trend with like doing like war-esque type of arcs in these comics, because it's always like kind of it kicks off the ground very quickly and it resolves in a very quick manner too. This is applicable to the Stark Hyperspace War, Great Sith War, and the Tales of the Jedi comics. It's like these are very big conflicts, or at least in scale they are, but they happen so fast. It's like you blink and you miss it, and this kind of doesn't really sit like it's that big in your mind. Something I was gonna say about the Yinkori though was that I thought it was kind of funny. It took me out of the story for a minute. Is that they have a caste system One is like these, I guess, diplomats, and one is like a warrior caste. But their fucking diplomat caste is called intelligentsia. And I just thought it was funny that like they're intelligent. I mean, like they're just intelligentsia. You added a fucking
Yeah, they're
SIA.
smart.
I honestly thought that term was fucking funny the first time I read it because I associate that term with like the Soviet secret police and like the Nazis and the
I mean,
Gestapo and the
in,
KGB.
in a literal sense. I mean, yeah. I mean, I that there's that too, the real world meaning of it too. I just thought it was like a very like I don't know, kind of cheap word to describe like the intelligent version of the fucking race. Is like, oh yeah, they're the intelligentsia. It's like if you call like I don't know, like a damn Glean Alsum a Nautilon, the smart ones are like the intelligentians or some shit.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's just I don't know, it's funny sounding. But I forgot. Oh yeah, the dialogue I thought it was fine. I mean, I agree with Lance in saying that like some character voices are nailed pretty well, but there's some things that Randy Stradley would do where it's kind of like it wasn't jarring, but I didn't notice it a bunch of times. Like he would repeat something that had just either been said. When the three parties of Jedi are going to the different Yankori planets, they're tackling these Yankori snub fighters. And whenever they get done with them, be it killing them or evading them, they always go, "Gee, I wonder what Mace Windu is doing on his planet." And then Mace Windu will finish his mission like, "Damn, man, I wonder what Adi Gali is doing." And then it's the same shit like 3 different times. And I don't know, I just thought it was funny. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was gonna say that I liked how the comic kind of rounded back to a topic we talked about in illusion, where it was pacifism, or at least a Jedi's perceived pacifism, and the whole thing of like, is an action a good thing? Like, is like true pacifism the ideal? Because Mace Windu, I think issue 1 or 2, says to Yoda, "I'm doing this mission because as peacekeepers, we can't sit idly by. To have inaction, like to do true pacifism, just be inactive in a conflict like this, is doing much more harm than it is good." So when reading that, I just kind of got memories of a past conversation we had on here on these videos. So I thought that was interesting a little bit. But I don't know, it's like just a fun action story. But another thing is that I don't feel this story matters too much in the scale of prequel stories. I can say that a lot about these Republic arcs, but I guess there's a little bit unfair comparison on my end because when I was reading this, and especially with Palpatine in the mix, I was comparing it to Shadowhunter and Cloak of Deception. But I think that where I went wrong is that Cloak of Deception and Phantom Menace, goddamn it, Shadowhunter are meant to be direct preludes to the Phantom Menace. Like they're supposed to set up the pieces that lead directly into the movie. Jedi Council Acts of War is not that type of story. It involves Palpatine scheming to prepare down the line for Phantom Menace, but not directly. So I don't know. I guess my expectations of it coming back into this were a little bit too high. So I was probably maybe a little bit too harsh on the story. Micah Gia, I think, provides some interesting philosophy that is kind of in TCW and like some other Star Wars media. It's like basic Jedi stuff, but it's still like nice to see it affirmed. And it's that his wisdom about the cup and the stone. He put 4 stones under a cup. One was black, 3 others were white. And it was an optical illusion where it was actually 4 white stones, but none of them were black. It's just that he was trying to make Obi-Wan and Kukruk focus in the Force to find an answer to a solution. But what he was trying to teach them is that the more the Jedi over rely on the Force and its power, they become more desensitized or detached from the natural world around them. And he was trying to say that a true Jedi has to strike a balance between the natural world and the Force. So, and I thought it was a nice sentiment. What was the other one? Oh yeah, the selflessness. I mean, this whole sacrifice Lance had brought up earlier is that he says that a true Jedi dies for or puts their life on the line for something that's worth fighting for. And you could argue that it's basic, but I think that's kind of what a good Jedi ideal is. Keepers of the peace. So I don't know. I forgot what I was also going to say.
I have something to add, if I may.
Hold on 1 second. Come 1 second, Ken.
No worries.
All right. For now, on my mind, that's all I had to say. But what are you going to say?
It was the whole Micah Giet's whole sacrifice. I had one to add. I think that isn't just like applicable to Jedi. Like a true Jedi would die for something that's worth fighting for or worth saving. But I think that's like can be applied to like a general philosophy. Like any like truly like morally, I guess morally. I don't think it matters like morality. It's more of like a general like any like your average Star Wars like galaxy goer. If they have like a strong moral compass, whether that's good or bad, and like they will always be willing to die for what they believe in, and like if they die, it's worth dying for. And I thought that was interesting.
Right. Well, I think I definitely agree with what you're saying. It's like, I mean, that is an ideal that could be applied to any living being, not just like a Jedi in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I think in the context of what he's saying is that he is trying to, because he was baiting the young Corey. I mean, that's the whole the funny writing of his like sacrifice is that he was saying, go to hell with the Jedi. Like these guys are leaving me behind. So I may as well tell you the one secret about being a Jedi.
Yeah.
And he says the secret about being a Jedi is that, we put our lives on the line for something that's worth dying for. And then he kills himself. Like he blows up the fucking tank and like takes him out.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you saying. I just in context of what he's saying, he's specifically talking about the Jedi.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well. I also thought the scene was written. I thought it was really well done. It was felt a little cheeky. Like Micah Giet was being a bit like, "Hey, come here, I gotta tell you something. And it blows him up.
Well, I mean, that's his personality. It's like he's like a wisecrack. Is that in the 4 issues that we see of him and Plo Koon, they're like bros, and I was laughing at that one shit because Kruk asked, Why does Plo Koon and Micah Giet always bait each other? And I was like, oh, that sounds quite familiar.
That sounds familiar. That sounds like familiar.
Yeah, it sounds like the fucking fiends.
A fiend group.
But I mean, no, it's just like, I mean, that is his personality. It's like he baits and prods and he makes jokes. He's a wisecrack Jedi master. So I think him saying, let me come here, get a little bit closer. I need to tell you something. And then he fucking just like kills himself. Like, he drops like an adage and just kills himself.
Yeah. I honestly thought that was funny. I was like, oh, he just drops some wisdom and then blows himself up.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine if he was like a fighting game character. That's like his like special move. He's dying, his martyrdom.
Nah. I mean, I don't know. That could be a fucking special move.
It'd be funny.
It would be funny. It's sad though. He's not really referencing any other stories. It's like Micah Giet, he kind of just like his story, at least not. Well, of course, the story ends here, but the legacy of him does not really reflect anything. At most, is that this one Wizards of the Coast source book called Power of the Jedi. They established that Bolter Swan was the original apprentice of Micah Giet. But since Micah Giet and Plo Koon were such like best friends, even at one point he calls him his life friend. Plo Koon undertakes Bolter's training to kind of honor his friend.
That's sweet.
Yep.
Pretty nice. Oh, now that I think of it, there's one thing that I thought of when I was after reflecting on after I read the story. Have you guys watched the fan analysis episode of Jedi Council Acts of War? I remember watching that like years ago. But from what I remember,
I've never seen it.
Okay, well, like
Me neither.
What I remember is I feel like during the episode, I feel like they overemphasize Micah Giet's importance as a character to the story and like in general. And so going in to like reading Acts of War, I had this expectation that he would have a lot more to do or like be more of a focused character. It didn't really impact like I don't think it impacted like my perception of the story. I was just surprised. I just thought it was like interesting because I remember specifically watching that video and like they sort of overemphasized Micah Giet's importance in the story, and I guess I expected him to have more of a focus. Like he was like, for all intents and purposes, he's the main character of this pre-Clone Wars arc.
Yep.
Well, I think in a lot of ways he kind of is one of the. I mean, like Lance said, there is no real one main character here. I mean, the Jedi Council, for all intents and purposes, are the main characters. But I do think that Micah Giet is one of the more focused ones here. Probably him, Mace, Adi Gallia, and Plo Koon.
That's like a Crook even.
Crook too. I mean, the Crook, not Lilith 2C's his master, but yeah, Crook, Plo Koon, Micah Giet, Mace, and Depa Billaba, Adi Gallia are probably the most focused ones here.
Yep.
Yeah. I do like the ensemble cast, though. It's nice to see all our Jedi bros kicking ass.
I mean, they even had your favorite here. They had Master Bates.
Oh yeah, Master Soon Bates. My favorite.
Master Bates.
Oh. But
YouTube's taking down this video for saying that. Oof.
Nah, it's not gonna get taken down. I will say
name
though,
of a character, bro. It's the name
that's
of a
his
character.
name. That is his name.
That is his name is Master Bates.
Yeah. But I don't know, the art. I thought the art was all right, you know.
I have to agree. I'd say my art tastes are very specific. I mean, personally, I don't know if you would agree, but I feel like at points the art did not match the tone of the story.
I mean, like Lance had said earlier, it's like it is kind of cartoonish, you know.
Yeah,
but going into the Republic comics, this same artist is on those books, so you're gonna see like the kind of cartoonish, stylized type of style. I mean, hell, man, Jango Fett Open Seasons is like cartoonish looking, but that's
Django Fett. I mean, I haven't read that comic, but some of the panels I've seen, those look goofy.
Right, it's a great comic. It just looks stylized.
Man, I wish we could read that comic. Shoot.
Hell yeah! I mean, it technically is in this era. So I mean, if y'all want to read it, I could put it on the timeline.
I was about to say I don't think I have the I think I have the Dark Forces omnibus. The Dark Horse omnibus. I don't have the Disney one. The Epic.
Well, fuck.
But I think I have the omnibus. Pretty sure.
Yeah, you may have it. But I mean, is that something you want to do, Lance? You want to reopen seasons?
I'm down to add it to the.
At the same time, it's probably like we probably shouldn't because we don't have to read it.
What was that, Lance?
I said we probably shouldn't because we don't have to read it. So.
Oh. But personally, you'd like to read it again.
Hell yeah.
I definitely.
I mean, fair enough. Well, I mean, I think that's a pretty fair point. We can hold it off then. I was gonna say one last thought about it and it's kind of the Navy. There's also like ramifications of the stories. Like, I'm not trying to be harsh when I say that I don't think this story has any major ramifications. I just kind of feel like it doesn't. Valorum with the Senate at the end, he he basically grants like this part-time instatement of the Republic Navy because, of course, you know, Rusan reformations, they're dissolved, and that's the reason why the cruisers Jedi go on don't have any armament on them. Valorum has to sign some fucking, you know, bullshit papers to say, I want a detachment of Republic cruisers to back up the Jedi. You know, can you please do that? So maybe you could say that him doing that is kind of like a stepping stone into the reinstatement of like armed forces in the Republic. But even then, it's like I don't know if you can really even say that because after the story ends, the Republic go back into demilitarizing.
Yeah, I kind of think it's temporary. I initially was like reading into it like that, towards like, oh, this is like the first step in the Republic's rearmament of their military. I guess it's foreshadowing the Clone Wars, but the fact that they go right back to being like disarmed and like not having soldiers and whatnot just felt kind of like strange.
I mean, that could be it. I mean, I will say that Valorum does kind of have to sacrifice a bit of himself. That's something in Cloak of Deception, I believe, and in the Phantom Menace, where it's like, you know, Valorum is kind of like losing faith. And he tells Yoda that, you know, I've had to sacrifice a lot in my career to even get like this past for the Jedi's sake. And then Yoda it was kind of a weird line of dialogue from Yoda. Yoda retorts, your sacrifice is not as bad as like the sacrifice of like Jedi they have made. Like he's saying that Jedi having died is not as bad of a sacrifice as him holding his position as Chancellor.
That was
And-
a weird line from Yoda.
Right. Because I mean, I don't even know how to really compare those two. It's like, because I mean, he's holding the Republic together in a sense. And Yoda is saying that Jedi dying is worse than you losing a hold of the Republic.
That honestly felt very out of character for something that like Yoda would say. It just felt weird, and like he's just equating like, oh, the Jedi sacrificing themselves as the ultimate, like Jedi dying is like, the ultimate evil in the galaxy. I'm like, Yoda, bro, quit smoking the ketamine.
I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows? But that's all I gotta say about fucking Valorum over there.
I will say though, it's nice to see the Republic, even if it was brief, the Republic like defense forces. Like, I guess back to what I said earlier is the actual like Republic troops or the security forces, but whatever you want to call them, the black and blue like armor and their caps and stuff. I do know these guys appear more prominently in the Stark Hyperspace War.
Are you talking about the Defense Force or the Navy?
Yeah, it's the defense forces, the soldiers on the ground.
Yeah, the Defense Force are in Stark Hyperspace War, but also the Navy.
Mm-hmm. I just think they look really cool and they have a dope aesthetic. And I don't know if these are these the same soldiers that appear in the Jedi Trial novel, or is that an entirely different like unified? Because I know that novel has an emphasis on like non-clone Republic troops, so I don't know if these are the same defense forces in that novel.
Jedi Trial. We should probably wrap it up after this question, but Jedi Trial doesn't have Defense Force. I mean, they're more. I don't know how to describe. They're imagine like Imperial Army troopers.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically just like Republic Army troopers. Because I mean, there is like conscripted soldiers and just like normal troops in the Republic,
Oh,
but
I
not
see.
but they're not necessarily like Planetary Defense Force.
Okay, it's just like you're just conscripts.
Mm.
I see. It's kind of weird though that like how the Republic has all these like conscripted like normal humans fighting in their military, but we barely see them outside of like that novel just during the Clone Wars.
Mm. Well, Lance, you got any final thing to add, bro?
Not really. It was a great story. It's a great start to this whole little side quest that we have to do. But yeah, it was pretty good. So the next story that we will be reading is the what is it? Prelude to Rebellion.
Prelude to Rebellion.
It is the Kiarimundi story, so which is let me see here. I think it's the first. Let's see what issues are in here. It is issues 1 through 6 of the 1998 Dark Horse stuff. So that is what we got coming up. We'll actually be starting the series officially. This is kind of like a big prologue, but we of course mainly included this one. We included this story because it's Crook's introduction. So and of course we know he plays a big part in Republic and pretty much most Ostrander stories. So anyway, that is all we've got today. Brothers, y'all want to add anything else?
Nope.
I think it's Jedi Council Acts of War is a great story, and I think that y'all, the audience, should, if you haven't already, go check it out.
Indeed.
Yep. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Y'all have a good one, and may the force be with you.
Peace.
Always.